It was a Saturday afternoon, the 13th of April 2024. Westfield Bondi Junction, one of the busiest shopping centers in Sydney, a place where thousands of people go every single weekend to do exactly the things that people do on Saturday afternoons. Buy shoes, eat lunch, push strollers, sit in food courts. At 3:32 in the afternoon, a 40-year-old man named Joel Cauchi walked through the entrance of that shopping center, carrying a 30-centimeter hunting knife. 6 minutes later, 6 people were dead. He had not planned this for months. He had not written a manifesto. He had not left a note or a recording or any message at all. He had woken up that morning sleeping rough in a suburb of Sydney, with no fixed address, no medication, and no one around him who knew how close to the edge he was standing. And the most disturbing thing about what happened in those 6 minutes, the thing that Australia has been grappling with ever since, is that it did not have to happen. Not because Joel Cauchi was not dangerous, but because the system that was supposed to catch someone like him had been watching him deteriorate for years. And it had looked away. Joel Cauchi was born in 1983 in Queensland. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia as a teenager, a serious mental illness that, when properly managed with medication and monitoring, allows many people to live full and stable lives. For years, Cauchi was one of those people. He received consistent psychiatric care under a doctor in Queensland, Dr. Andrea Burrows-Lavak, and by most accounts managed his condition reasonably well under that supervision. Then, between 2018 and 2019, Dr. Burrows-Lavak discontinued his antipsychotic medication. The precise clinical reasoning for this decision became one of the central questions of the coronial inquest that followed the Bondi attack. What is documented is that family members had contacted the treating team with concerns that Cauchi was showing signs of relapse. Those concerns were not acted on with sufficient urgency. The medication was stopped. The monitoring ended. And over the following 5 years, Joel Cauchi disappeared into a deteriorating mental state that moved him progressively further from help and closer to crisis. By April 2024, he was 40 years old. He was homeless, sleeping rough in Maryborough. He had come to the attention of Queensland police on multiple occasions in the years before the attack. He had no support network, no medication, no stable housing, and no ongoing psychiatric care. He was, in the clinical language of the inquest, in a state of active untreated psychosis. He was also entirely invisible to every system that should have been watching him. That morning, he woke up in Maryborough and made his way toward Bondi Junction. Between 2019 and 2024, 5 years passed. 5 years in which Joel Cauchi's family raised concerns. 5 years in which he appeared on Queensland police records multiple times. 5 years in which a man with a documented diagnosis of schizophrenia received no psychiatric care, no medication, and no intervention from any mental health system in Australia. The inquest found that the psychiatrist who stopped his medication failed to heed warnings from his family about relapse. What would have happened if one phone call had been answered differently? One appointment had been kept. One system had functioned the way it was designed to. 6 people would be alive. That is not speculation. That is what the coroner concluded. At 3:32 p.m. on April 13, 2024, Joel Cauchi entered Westfield Bondi Junction. What followed has been reconstructed second by second from CCTV footage, witness statements, and the coronial inquest evidence. He moved through the shopping center quickly, targeting people with a hunting knife. Within 3 minutes, he had stabbed 16 people, 6 of whom would not survive. Ashlee Good was 38 years old. She was a mother. When Cauchi approached her, she used her own body to shield her 9-month-old baby daughter in the pram beside her. She was fatally stabbed. Her baby survived. The baby was hospitalized with injuries. She recovered. Dawn Singleton was 25 years old, there to meet a friend. Yixuan Cheng was 27, a PhD student originally from China. Jade Young was 47. Pikria Darkia was 55, originally from Georgia. Faraz Tahir was 30 years old, a Pakistani security guard who had been working at the center and ran toward the commotion rather than away from it. He was stabbed trying to stop the attack. 14 of the 16 people stabbed were female, including 5 of the 6 who died, and a 9-month-old baby. The question of whether this reflected a deliberate targeting of women became one of the most contested and painful debates in the aftermath, discussed in Parliament, examined in the inquest, and never fully resolved to the satisfaction of the victims' families. While Cauchi moved through the center, the alarm system did not activate. No alert sounded inside the building. People in different areas of the shopping center had no way of knowing what was happening floors away. Shoppers hid in locked stores. Staff barricaded doors. The chaos was invisible to most of the building while it was happening. Ashlee Good shielded her baby with her own body. I have read that sentence dozens of times preparing this video, and it has not become easier to hold. Her daughter was 9 months old. She survived. She will grow up without a mother who died protecting her in a shopping center on a Saturday afternoon. I do not know how you write about that without stopping. So I am going to stop for a moment. Because she deserves that. Ashlee Good deserves that. At 3:37:21 p.m., 5 minutes and 21 seconds after Cauchi entered the shopping center, Detective Inspector Amy Scott arrived at the building. She had been driving nearby when she heard the urgent double-beep dispatcher alert on her radio. She activated her lights and sirens and drove to the scene. She was the first officer to arrive. She entered the shopping center alone. 2 French civilians, Damien Gurat and Silas Despraux, who had been attempting to track and slow Cauchi's movements with bollards and chairs, guided her up the escalators to the 5th floor. At 3:38:40 p.m., 1 minute and 19 seconds after she entered the building, near a Zara store on the 5th floor, Joel Cauchi turned around and ran directly toward Amy Scott with his 30-centimeter hunting knife raised above his head. She fired 3 rounds from her service pistol. The first struck Cauchi in the shoulder. The second struck him in the neck. The third missed him and embedded safely into a pot plant near a wall, behind which, unknown to Scott in that fraction of a second, a woman and a child were hiding. Cauchi collapsed instantly. Amy Scott immediately rolled him over, kicked the knife out of reach, and began performing CPR on him. She tried to save the life of the man she had just shot. He was pronounced dead at the scene. From the moment he entered the building to the moment he was shot, 6 minutes and 40 seconds had passed. 6 people were dead. 10 others were injured. A 9-month-old baby was being airlifted to hospital. And a detective inspector who had arrived alone, entered alone, and ended it alone, was kneeling on the floor of a shopping center trying to resuscitate the man she had just stopped. The official response in the aftermath of Bondi recognized several people who acted with extraordinary courage in those 6 minutes. Damien Gurat, a French tourist visiting Sydney, had grabbed a bollard from the shopping center floor and used it to try to stop Cauchi, chasing him and slowing his movement. He was injured in the attempt. Silas Despraux, another French civilian, assisted in tracking Cauchi through the building and guided Amy Scott to the floor where he was. Faraz Tahir, the security guard, ran toward the attack and was killed trying to stop it. Ashlee Good died shielding her child. The coroner recommended bravery awards for Amy Scott, Damien Gurat, Silas Despraux, the husband of victim Jade Young, and posthumously for Ashlee Good and Faraz Tahir. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese granted permanent Australian residency to both Damien Gurrat and Mohammed Taha, the injured Pakistani security guard. Amy Scott received the Valor Medal, the highest bravery award available to an Australian police officer. She has spoken publicly about the day only briefly. In one interview, she said simply that she did what any officer would do. Most officers who heard that disagreed. What Amy Scott did in 1 minute and 19 seconds in a shopping center in Sydney was stop a massacre with 3 bullets, alone, and then drop to her knees and try to save the man who had caused it. The coronial inquest into the Bondi Junction attack, an $18 million inquiry spanning multiple weeks, delivered its findings on February 5, 2026. The coroner found that Dr. Andrea Burrows-Lavak had provided exemplary care to Cauchi over a long period, but had failed to heed warnings from his family that he may have been relapsing in the years before the attack. This failure was one of many factors that led to the tragedy. The inquest also examined security protocols at the shopping center, specifically the failure of the alarm system to activate while the attack was in progress, leaving thousands of shoppers in other parts of the building unaware of what was happening. The coroner formally ruled out terrorism and ideological motivation, concluding that Cauchi had acted in a state of untreated active psychosis with no logical motivation that could be externally identified. Dr. Burrows-Lavak was referred to health investigators following the inquest findings. The inquest made sweeping recommendations about mental health legislation, crisis response protocols, and shopping center security alarm systems across New South Wales. Whether those recommendations produce lasting systemic change is a question Australia is still answering. On April 15, 2024, a national day of mourning was held across Australia. That evening, thousands of people gathered at Bondi Beach, not far from where it happened, for a candlelight vigil. Government leaders stood in the dark and held lights. Strangers held lights. People who had never met Don Singleton or Yixuan Cheng, or Jade Young, or Ashlee Good, or Faraz Tahir, or Pikria Darkia held lights for them. I think that matters, not because it changes anything, but because it says something about what a community does when it is broken open by something it cannot explain or prevent or fully understand. It holds a light. For what it is worth, and I know it is not much, I believe in saying their names. Don Singleton, 25 years old. Yixuan Cheng, 27. Jade Young, 47. Ashlee Good, 38, who shielded her baby. Faraz Tahir, 30, who ran toward it. Pikria Darkia, 55. They went to a shopping center on a Saturday afternoon. They should have come home. Subscribe to Vault of Crime. We tell the stories that deserve more than a headline and the people who deserve more than a statistic. We will see you in the next one.